So, with that said, I want to get into the energy, and we're going to be dealing with, again, like I said, Oba, the sacred Orisha of Oba. Oba is very interesting in that, for one, we don't hear much about her. You'll hear about her in Cuba a bit, and of course in Nigeria, in the eastern part of Nigeria, she has her own river by the name of the Oba River, which is actually a section of the Oshun River. But Oba does have her own river in Nigeria. Okay, but before we get into the science and sharing information, let's listen to a song on Oba as a tribute to her, and to, of course, bring her energy down. Obatala, Obatala, king of the white cloth, right? So the way the Pataki goes is this. Oba was a ruler over her own queendom, and that particular space that she served as ruler over was actually larger than that of her would-be or soon-to-be husband, Shango's. And Shango, who was represented as the son of Obatala, was told by his father that it is time for you to marry. Yes, you have consorts, you have concubine, but it is time for you to have an official consort in your home to take care of the palace and to show the proper modeling of family for your kingdom. So with that, Shango met, and I'm making this a long story short, Shango met Oba, married Oba. In due time, he also consorted or married Oya as well as Oshun. Okay, Oya being the junior wife in this. But Oba was the senior wife. And being senior wife, there were certain privileges that she was entitled to. For instance, she was allowed to grind the pepper for the home and make the stews. She got the firewood, things like that. She was the one who brought culture, art, and even to a great degree civilization to the kingdom of Oyo, which was Shango's kingdom. By him joining with her, it was also a strategic move, very similar to the story of how we have with the Prophet Muhammad joining with his wife Khadijah, who was much older than him, but she was actually a merchant at the time. So when they joined, she actually had more than he did. And it was very uncommon in that culture and Islamic culture at that time, whether the story be true or not, but even just in terms of culture, for a younger man to marry an older woman like that. Okay, so with Shango marrying Oba, this was almost kind of a similar situation where the marriage was not necessarily for lust, but it was for strategic purposes and for what we call nation building. Now, it wasn't that Oba was not attractive, that she was not beautiful. In fact, she was perfect. She was very voluptuous, and she had a quiet, demure demeanor about her. And Shango actually loved that about her. He loved her modesty and her reservation. But Oba was also an extremely fierce warrior. Extremely. No one could really beat Oba. No one was able to best her. Okay, she was trained in warfare by Ogun as well as other entities, and she actually carried the weaponry of Ogun. Similar to different versions of the story, some say that they never saw each other again after that. And speaking of Shango and Oba, some say that they did, and Shango tried to comfort her, but she just was too embarrassed to come back to the kingdom. So Orunmila married her and taught her secrets. So that actually is more in alignment with the Nigerian version of the story. Most diasporic versions of the story, it'll just be Oba running out of the kingdom crying. Some say she went to the cemetery and became basically a grave digger. She became the one that opened up the graves, or the holes, for the new bodies going into the grave. There is something to this, but that is not totally in alignment with the historical Pataki. But that does give us a little bit more information as to how the energy of Oba manifests itself. So basically what happened was this. Let's start dealing with who Oba is. We know that in our mythology and metaphysics, we have the science of the triple goddess. The triple goddess. It's a symbol a lot of times you see with three circles that are interwoven within each other. It's a symbol that the Catholic Church uses, actually, the triple goddess. Okay, they say it's a sign for the Trinity, but they actually know what it is. All right, and within that triple goddess, you have the maiden, the mother, and the crone. Okay, the maiden is, of course, the young virginal one. And keep in mind that when we say maiden or virginal, it doesn't mean that the person has never had sex. It just means that they're young. All right. So for those who like to study the Bible and you like to read about the Virgin Mary, it doesn't mean that she never had sex with Joseph. It just means that she was young. Okay. But you have the maiden, the mother. Now we know the mother brings the energy of not just wisdom, but of production and of royalty, is the mother. Okay. And then you have the crone. The crone is the old woman who represents wisdom. All right. Now, I want you to keep that in mind. Please, all students, take notes of that. The maiden, the mother, and crone, the triple goddess theory. In this scenario, Oba is the crone. Her being the senior wife, too. She is the old, wise woman. She's the crone. All right? Now, one of the things that some of you may notice, if you know anything about Oba already, you'll notice that people who receive Oba at initiation usually don't receive Oba at a young age. Oba is not usually given to anyone over 40 to 50 years old. Oba is typically given to older women. All right.